Things are okay, man. They're a little bit more gloomy than they were down there, where I think it touched up around 85 on Sunday when
It
I
was
was
hot.
down
It was
there.
hot when we were playing golf, buddy. It was hot.
So we have a window at the front of the house that overlooks Jamaica Bay and then the city itself. We haven't seen it in a couple of days. I mean, visibility's low, weather's a little bit foggy and
Yeah.
gloomy. So yeah.
All right. Well, I'll perk you up, buddy. Let's go. Let's have some fun talking sports, what we do every day. It'll be a good time. I was reading before I get into some of this other stuff that now we know, and a lot of people inside the program know, and certainly people who cover it knew this. But it was touch and go. There was a moment there, touch and go there, that Mike Norvell looked like he was going to be the next head coach at Alabama. And your detractors, the people that hate Florida State, the people that want to try to see Florida State stay down, that doesn't sink, that doesn't jive. They don't like that. They don't like knowing that Florida State has a head coach that was really one of the top candidates to take the Alabama job. That is inarguable, by the way. He was. Alabama people will tell you that's inarguable. So don't let all the nonsense happen that way. It's nice. It's feathering your cap, especially when you keep them. You feel good about that at the end of the day. But this is what it was, a report. I don't know if you saw the On3 story. I quote from it here. In fact, in the wee hours of the Friday morning, the fear amongst Florida State officials was that Norvell was close to trading his FSU Garnet for Alabama Crimson. Now, Chris Lowe wrote that, and also Ira Schafel was credited, rightfully so, in this story for first reporting that Florida State was really close to, in that moment, taking a plane and talking to Lane Kiffin as the next head coach of Florida State. What do you think about that? Lane Kiffin, it appears, would have been the next head coach at Florida State had Mike Norvell, an agent extraordinaire, said, yep, we're going to take the Alabama job. Within apparently hours, we would have hired Lane Kiffin. That's interesting.
It would have been good for business in the short term. I'm talking about from our job, not from the hat that I wear and the degree that I have. I'm just talking about the job. Would have been good for at least the first year, and it could have been catastrophic. The volatility factor, it's Lane Kiffin, extremely volatile. Now, Mike Norvell, steady Eddie. Now, he has a ton of energy, and he brings it every day, but this is not an up and down operation. This has been steady improvement, and it's been a steady rise to be among the elite of college football, and that's where we're arriving at this year, as long as this season goes as well as you think it will, and I think it will.
Yeah, it would have been a weird day for us. You can separate the two, right? The work environment would have been fascinating. It would have been, this is a guy who always has something to say. He trolls other coaches in the league. He does all the things that create headlines and spark and all of that. At the same time, he has won a lot of football games, but he's unstable, or has been in the past. Now, one thing to note is apparently, for Lane Kiffin, the biggest change in his life is that he got sober and wasn't for a very long time. Now, he's spoken openly about this, so I'm not like this isn't some sort of in the business sort of no. And so maybe there's more stability in his life now than ever before, and maybe we would not have inherited a guy or brought in a guy that was as polarizing as he had been in years past because there's stability in his life. I don't know. But I found that fascinating that Florida State was ready to hit the ground running, was aware of the fact that, man, this is coming down to the wire. We may lose our head coach. I submit to you, and it's great that this is a theoretical, this never happened. It didn't matter. Florida State did not lose their head coach. Mike Norvell is here. The money is being pushed into football and facilities and recruiting budgets and all the things that he wanted to get by extending his contract with Florida State. That did happen. So these are all what ifs, and they're interesting. It's the offseason sort of conversation that people have. But I would maintain that it would have been an unmitigated disaster had Florida State lost Mike Norvell. And I don't say that because I'm saying to you that Mike Norvell is the best coach in college football and that he's miles apart from anybody else doing what he does. I'm saying that from a standpoint of stability, infrastructure, and having built and bought in and connected with a community and a university and its fan base and the recruiting and all of the things that has been flipped on its head in a very short period of time. It would have been a disaster.
Yeah, if it had happened, you could say with confidence that Mike Norvell would have left Florida State a better place than he found it. However, this would be a circumstance, go back in the calendar and feel the feelings and feel the momentums, where it almost would feel like Lane Kiffin was coming into a situation in which the previous head coach was fired for performance, because you have the snub, you have the opt-outs, and then the recruiting class and the transfer portal at that point, who knows where things would go. And you would immediately have to do damage control if you were the next coach coming in a way that you shouldn't have to do when a team is coming off of 13-0, and let's say that head coach takes a job at the NFL level or something along those lines. It would have been the first 90 days. They say that about the politicians, but like the first 90 days of the new head coach administration, if that was Lane Kiffin, man, they would be so critical about fortifying relationships from everybody, from important assistant coaches or support staff, through roster, through NIL supporters, through boosters. That would have been a hectic 90 days at a time where Florida State had less momentum than it deserved.
Oh,
Thankfully, we don't live in that universe, and Mike did say yes. But it is also nice, you're right, to see that, in stories of record, it does show that Alabama was extremely interested in Florida State's head coach, because now Mike Norvell can, by rights, he already was going to do this, but if there are recruits that are interested in the Southeastern Conference or Alabama specifically, he can say, hey, I had a chance to go there. It's a great school, great program. I turned it down, and here's why. And I think that's a really compelling pitch to be able to make to high school kids. And you can look them in the eye, and they can go verify it on their own. Go ahead, look it up. This is exactly what I went through. But I chose Florida State, and here's why you should too.
I think Dan Lanning was the number one choice for Alabama. He made it abundantly clear very, very quickly for a variety of reasons that he did not want to be considered for the job. From there, it became about Norvell and DeBoer. I think Norvell was the second candidate that they wanted. I believe they settled on their third. That is not a knock. That is not a knock on Washington's coach, now Alabama's coach. He's a very, very good coach. I believe the order is as I just laid it out, that I think if Mike wanted the job, he could have had it. I think he could have had the job. Now, we'll never know. And most sources aren't going to go on record with that. That's fine. It is my opinion that he was the second. I'm not telling you that as a fact. I'm telling you that as an opinion, and I think it's rooted in something of an informed background. Yes.
Yeah, I can say we were in some interesting circles during that 24 to 36 hour period of time.
Yeah, we were
together in some circumstances. And it sounded as though if Lanning said, it was basically put to us this way: if Lanning says no, then get ready for your articles and your hot boards and all that kind of stuff for your, just be prepared for that, because this could happen. And it was before those lists were really, I remember Andy Staples put out a list, some other websites put out a list, and Mike Norvell was somewhere in the top 5 of most lists. But it was interesting, before it got whittled down, the speculation of the people in the know was that, yeah, man, Norvell was inside track.
Got an interesting phone call, and we had some interesting conversations where it went from, okay, listen, I'm busy doing this over here. We don't need another story to get all worked up about. We're trying to relax a little bit here. All of a sudden, hey, man, I'm not just saying this to say it. I need you to be prepared to come on the air and have a conversation about how it is Florida State just lost their head coach. That's how this changed. That's how radically this changed. So now we're on the heels of all of that. I don't bring this up to stir the pot or anything like that. I'm looking back. You're right. It to me, A, you avoided a disaster. B, it's a hell of a compliment. It's a hell of a compliment to Mike, certainly. And obviously it's a good situation to be in, because I think, and I'll reiterate this point, I don't believe that Mike would have ever said no to Alabama if he thought we were going to be stuck in this godforsaken second-class conference for any real length of time. I don't believe he would have. I think he would have been out the damn door, because you can't stay here and win long-term. And then I think he knew that the university was once again confirming just how committed to football they really are.
That was okay. So before we got the news where we all exhaled, I remember we were doing the show live 1 to 3, and we were hoping that the next day's show we wouldn't be in limbo anymore. And thankfully we weren't that next day. But my take on it was very simple. It's what we all believed. If you're going to be unbiased for a moment and you're just going to look at this as a business, if Mike Norvell's agent did not have Florida State scared, and it wasn't searching for more assurances, to grab more power, to grab more resources to make this football program better, then the agent wasn't doing his job. Because before it was settled, again, there was an unsettled feeling in Tallahassee, which is, could we lose this guy? And that is when, if you're the coach, you have to work almost against the university and say, this is what I need. You told me that I can have this in 3 years, but I need it this year.
Yeah.
This is what you told me I can have in 5 years. I need it in 3. And I need you got to be able to promise these things, because if you don't, then I'm going to go a place where I already have them. And it's one of those weird circumstances where if you look at it like we do, cold-blooded business, in a way, he's got to fight us to do better for us as a football program. And I think that's what happened.
Yeah, and that's the way a fan has to view it too. It's hard to do that because most people take things personally, and it's tough not to, right? I mean, that's your school. That's you get mad when it's being used for leverage and things of that ilk, but that's the business, and that's the cold hard truth of the business, and that's the way all of this works. A guy can be both. He can really love the place he's at. He can really love the people he's met. He can really love the connections he's made. He can really love the success he's had and what it's building towards, and also say, if I don't get this, I have to leave. like that can be true. Both those things can be true, and nobody likes to hear that. And every one of these guys, well, they're all mainly repped by the same guy, do the same things each and every time. That's how it works, and they get that. And you saw, and you and I haven't had a chance to really talk about this. I expressed some anger about it once we saw the number, but that $6 million buyout tells you that Florida State completely caved. I mean, Florida State just completely got bent over and said, okay, well, we don't have any leverage. We're going to have to do this. I mean, we were hoping that number would be 15 to 20 million minimum. It's 6. Sweet Jesus. That's nothing.
It is nothing. It is the current era that we live in. It's not as crazy as the Jimbo A&M contract. And that was, unfortunately for every institution, athletic department around the country, they're saying, well, that precedent is on the books. The sooner we can just label those crazies and cult members what they are, the better we're off in our negotiations. But, I mean, the leverage is squarely on the coach's side. In this era of college football, it's about to be on the player side, too, here shortly.
So a couple of things to note here as we get started on a Balls McWednesday. It's also Wine Wednesday. I say that because my friends at Social Kitchen can help you out. Go off of Cary Forest right there, guys. Can't miss it, and you'll be happy that you did. It is Wine Wednesday. You get, 10% off all wines. And by the way, the key to this, where I don't have to sell it, I could just say it, and you'll be interested, is not only do you get 10% off a wide array of wines, it's also cheeses. And, they've got grazing boards, if that's what you want to call them. But I will tell you that the cheeses are there to be sampled while we're talking about the wine. You can't miss it. Stop in today, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So we're right smack in the middle of it. Social Kitchen. We appreciate them being on board with us. But also, I'm telling you, awesome food, great meats. It's grilling season. You'll learn from the chef while you're there. You can ask all kinds of cool questions. I have figured out a lot more things in regards to cooking, thanks to my friends at Social Kitchen. Secondly, Florida State plays baseball today at 4 o'clock against Florida Gulf Coast. They're looking to go 11-0. They've been very, very, very good. They've been the antithesis of, say, the basketball team who lost again last night. More on them in a moment. But Florida State baseball, trying to keep it rolling. And boy, have they had it rolling. Cam Smith in particular has had it rolling. He is, what is he hitting? Double check notes. 478. He's had 22 hits. He has been tough to deal with. James Tibbs leading the way for Florida State at the plate in terms of power. He's got 6 home runs and 21 RBIs. We talked about Faroe when he came in and how he would help this lineup. Legacy coming in. I talk about it a lot. I remember his dad. He's 7th in the NCAA right now in doubles. And he is averaging nearly 2 hits a game. So he's helped this roster, this lineup quite a bit. And Florida State has been very, very good at once again striking people out. Florida Gulf Coast comes into this game not the team that they've been in the past. They're hitting 281 as a team with a 387 on base percentage. So we'll see. They have not had the same success as we recall. What was it, Dong City, as Corey dubbed them in the past. Dong City, they still hit for power, but they are not the Dong City that you remember. Meanwhile, the basketball team is not going to allow for me to ring this bell at any point. The dream is over. It wasn't even a lofty dream, guys. It was a really low key, I'd just like to have a bite to eat today kind of dream. Like this isn't, I don't want to stay. This is, I got to eat at Burns in Tampa. This is, I just would like a sliver, a morsel, a piece of turkey, just something today. No, that's all I wanted. That's what the NIT dream is just a little slice of something. Can I have a piece of that cake? Can I have some of that? That's all I wanted. We didn't get it. You get nothing. Here's a dry ass cracker. You get a half of a cracker. That's what you get, Cameron. That's what you get when you're rooting for Florida State basketball, which now is officially pretty bad. And I'm mad. I'm tired of it. And I knew that I couldn't count on them yesterday, and I couldn't. They started ACC play 6-2. They've gone 3-8 since that time in the league. If they don't beat Miami this Saturday, now they frequently beat Miami. In fact, they own Miami's ass, even in years where Miami's good. So we'll see. Maybe they will, but they need to win that game. And if they don't, then they have a losing season, Tom. A losing season. They're going to end up in that 8-9 game in next week's ACC tournament, in all likelihood. I guess if NC State upsets Pitt at the Pete, then what are you, 16-15, 10-10 in the ACC? Listen, they're 95th in the net right now. That's not going to be even close to getting you into the NIT. And here's the sad reality of this situation. Florida State, if we're being completely honest, and people ask me about this kind of stuff all the time, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen when we come back. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Tish here to share one of my favorite TCC stories. In the summer of 1966, Eugene Lamb wanted to stay in shape before leaving to play college basketball in Louisiana. So he jogged to Tallahassee from his home in Midway and helped lay the bricks for the first building on what's now the TCC campus on Appleyard Drive. Today, he is a longtime member of the TCC District Board of Trustees. It's no exaggeration when we say Trustee Lamb helped build TCC into what it is today.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services. Comfort is to call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails, and a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. And Parker's is now offering electrical services too.
Parker Services. Comfort is to call away.
Florida license number CMC 050334.
Thank you for calling the Medicare Help Desk. How can we help you?
Can you help me choose the right coverage for myself and my wife?
We sure can. We can help you choose from Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, or standalone prescription drug plans from over 30 different insurance carriers.
How much does it cost? We have a fixed income and can't afford extra expenses.
At the Medicare Help Desk, the consultation is completely free. We are here to help.
Thank you, Medicare Help Desk.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. In my 17 years of experience, I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk, a place for you to get clear answers to all your questions and make sense of all the confusion. I've helped thousands of clients, and I live right here in Tallahassee with my family. I am active in my church and wish to help and serve my community. If you need help navigating the Medicare landscape, I'm easy to find. Just visit the MedicareHelpDesk.com. That's the MedicareHelpDesk.com.
Keeping power reliable and affordable here in Florida is our most important commitment. At Duke Energy, we're working across our communities, strengthening our systems, rerouting power to help avoid outages, and adding proven innovations that will help make the grid stronger and more secure today and ready for tomorrow. Because Florida deserves more reliable and affordable power, and we're determined to deliver it. Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
Zaxby's Sensation Salad is so much more than a plain old salad. It's a salad, which begs the question, at what point does a salad stop being a salad and become a salad? Is it when you add Zaxby's fried chicken to it? Crunchy wontons? Asian slaw? Citrus vinaigrette? Teriyaki glaze? Sweet and spicy sauce? Or is it when you top it all with a handmade perfectly fried egg roll? Without a doubt, the egg roll. The Sensation Salad, only at Zaxby's.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and North.
Making these hot tubs affordable, which is a good thing. If you have an older hot tub, though, this is what I want to stress for you, and you've been putting off upgrading because you just don't want to deal with the hassle of all that. You've got to get the old tub out and get the new tub in. They go pick it up for you. That's the thing. They'll do it. They'll swing on by. They'll grab your old-ass tub, and they'll give you a brand new one. Finance that sucker. Pennies. You're throwing out the door. There you go. Brand new one. Pinch and Penny Pools and Spas. Go check them out. Rear Street. Good times. Tom, I mentioned in a professional tease a moment ago that here's what's going to happen with the basketball team. People want to know what is going to happen. They're not good. They lose again last night. It's frustrating. They may finish sub 500 if they lose to Miami. They may not lose to Miami, so maybe you secure a 16-15 record. Ain't going to get it done. It's another year of not making the tournament. It's another year of not going to the NIT. It's another year of I think just sort of wasting away, feeling like no progress is being made. They're better this year than they were last, but they're not good, and it is frustrating. So here's what I say to you. Ordinarily, you would think that perhaps the head coach was going to be let go, especially because your current athletic director has been pretty aggressive and has made a splash with his hires. He's a guy that has I think done a very good job if you look at his hiring track record, and there's a reason to be excited about the things that Alfred's done while here at athletic director. His time here as athletic director, but I don't think he's in a position to really do a damn thing, and thus I think nothing is going to happen. If you think about the situation we're in. They are not in a situation, I don't think, to go out and make a splash hire. So let's just say Leonard Hamilton decided to retire, that he's frustrated. He's certainly had a great career, and I think a Hall of Fame career if you look at the entirety of what he's done for basketball. And we know what he is as a man, and I'll always respect him, and I'll always salute him, and I'll always be thankful that we got to watch and cover Leonard Hamilton in this Florida State basketball program. But it's not successful right now. They are struggling. And if he decided to walk away, well, you're still in the same situation. You'd have to make a change. You'd have to go out and get somebody. But I don't think they're equipped while they're in the midst of a huge shift in trying to leave the conference. They're mired in a lawsuit. They've spent a lot of money now on facilities. We don't know if they're going to end up in the Big Ten or the SEC, and all of these things would inform your opinion about how you go about hiring your next coach and who you'd want to bring in, Tom. I think that they're almost better off, and nobody likes to hear this. It's like having a quarterback that can't play, but you can't get out from under the deal just yet. Not everybody can eat $85 million the way the Denver Broncos just had to because of the woeful deal they made with Russell Wilson. You might not be in a position to do a damn thing, whether he stays and he wants to come back another year or he decides to retire. I don't think you can make a change. I think you're just stuck. You're just stuck.
Yeah, it could very well be. I think the next best friend of this program is the Power Two.
And the money that we're going to get when we leave. Yeah.
Correct. And that's not the situation we're in now. If you've got 1 year left on the deal, this team was not to the level of the last two in terms of disappointments / embarrassments with their effort. So I think you press forward for 1 more year, see what kind of noise you can make, if any. And at that point, you reassess your options, and perhaps you do have a new conference home that you can point to help entice the next coach. Or maybe there is an announcement of some kind that you get a line of succession next year. I don't think
the thing we can hope for, Tom, is some sort of, this is the say goodbye to Leonard. It's been an amazing career. Here's the guy that's taking over afterwards, kind of an announcement. That's the best you can hope for.
Yeah, because you kind of need to either extend or do something along those lines in order to set a tone for recruits / transfers. Why would I come here? Why would I go to Florida State? Well, you got to give them something. And I do think that this is a transition. Well, it's a bad period right now for basketball, but I think it's transitional towards a good place once we get that new conference television distribution. I don't think the basketball program successes will be too far behind that development, but we're not there yet. And I don't know if we're going to be there in 25 or 26. So you're looking at about 3 or 4 more years at minimum of having some rough goes of it.
Yeah, it sucks. Nobody likes that. It's the worst. It's the worst feeling in the world to be in limbo. Nobody likes to be in that position. But when you cannot sink resources into something that you want to make a splash doing, then you're kind of just stuck by definition. And that is not, you can't sell that. I mean, that's awfully difficult. But at the same time, they don't have an asset that somebody wants to be a part of right now in basketball. Their money is being spent in other places, being sunk in other places that are very necessary. And I think the landscape of basketball changed dramatically, and it happened very, very quickly. And we were able to adapt to it for football because we wanted to. And we had, listen, let's be honest. We ended up getting it right at head coach at the right time, who figured out how to play the portal. We also ended up having the Battles In come in and really, I think, probably lead the way amongst collectives. I'm not saying that just because we know the folks of the Battles In and we've watched the successes. They really had a game plan that has proven to work out. And thank goodness they did. But all of that was mainly geared towards transitioning in football, because you have to be competitive in that. You have to be good at football. You can't. Florida State can't afford to not be. They anteed up a long time ago, as I like to say. And that, it worked out, but it was disastrous. The timing was disastrous for basketball because that support's not there and that money's not there. And it won't be until you have your feet firmly planted on the ground in a situation in which you can be competitive because of the extra money coming in once you're part of the Big Two, once you're part of the Big Ten and or the SEC. That's how that's going to work. And until you have that information, until you know where you're headed and what you have to spend, you can't lure a name.
I think this links back to the discussion we had in the first segment about Florida State nearly having to go in a different direction with a head coach. And when Mike Norvell has leverage to expedite whatever processes he wishes to expedite. I mean, the report out there was, Mike Norvell makes now $10 million a year, and that's what the salary is going to look like over X number of years. But then also there was a commitment to more resources. Well, resources cost money, man, and those resources get pulled from somewhere else, whether it's from the university's budget itself or whether it's from making sure that you nudge a booster or an NIL contribution in a certain direction. Like, that's what that wrangling was about. And so if you're going to be investing still more money in football, you've got less to play with to do other things. And football has to be the priority right now. First of all, there's ROI on it like there hasn't been since 29 straight victories in the last decade. you're getting the return on the investment.
Correct.
You're getting the brand value. You're getting the leverage as much as you can from a perception standpoint to make a move to a Power 2 conference. Like, all of these things add up, and they're going to benefit the university at the expense of something else. And I think right now we're talking about what it's at the expense of, and that's unfortunate. I hate it. Basketball was something I got very, very close to as a student because we weren't very good at football. But it's something that has to happen right now, and it's the ebbs and flows of running an athletic department. And so hopefully this time of year, baseball is more consistently successful. Softball continues to do what they do for the better part of a decade. And we can focus on those things while basketball is just kind of twisting in the wind for a little bit. You know, that's it's going to have to overachieve in order to get anywhere close to the tournament if the tournament field doesn't expand, of course.
Yeah, a lot of folks in the Heisen Linka chat asking questions about what the Battles In governs over. That is transitioning, that is changing, and I did an interview today that you guys will not hear today, but you will hear it in the very, very near future. I did it with Ingram Smith, CEO, Battles In, because of changes that are coming. And a real positive. It's a very positive situation that will allow the Battles In to kind of take the baton, as he said, from Rising Spear, which is going away, and the Battles In is kind of going to be over many sports, and they'll have to expand their staff, all of them, frankly. And they'll have to expand their staff, and that will be a good thing in my estimation, and I'm excited about that. And I think what I'm excited about, and you'll hear this revealed in the interview, is this symbiotic sort of working relationship now that is happening between Seminole boosters and the Battles In. I think that's the most critical aspect of what we learned in talking with him today. So to me, it's exciting.
Yeah, well, that's something that, you know, in the wake of the snub, you saw all of the parties at the head of all of the major institutions at Florida State pulling in the same direction and rooting on the other institutions. It wasn't long ago when NIL was becoming a thing, and before it became the thing that it is, that you could sense in some circles that, and you could read about it in other institutions and programs, that it felt like the boosters needed to battle with the collectives for your dollar. Like, it was almost as though they were competing institutions, like two churches on a main street, you know, separated by 1/10 of a mile. Our roof needs fixing. No, our roof needs fixing. And I think what has happened since that was created, since NIL became a thing, is everybody understands that we're all pulling in the same direction. And so that was something that the head of the boosters had alluded to, that there might be a restructuring, and that's something that will be coming in the near future.
Looking forward for you guys to hear that interview. We hope it's maybe tomorrow or Friday. I'm not so sure. We'll find out. There's a process by which this happens. Whenever I have a conversation with folks from the Battles In an interview form, certain things have to be approved. So we're going to move forward with that as quickly as possible. Do want you to know that's on the horizon, and it gives clarification as to what the Battles In is going to be responsible for, and what you can do as somebody who wants to see all the sports do well. That includes, if you're a big time basketball guy, how you can help out that way too. So there are answers that are coming. Unfortunately, I don't think in the very near future it's going to save basketball in its current situation. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Who's now?
Tallahassee police are investigating a shooting that happened Sunday night, leaving a man with injuries. Just before 8:50 p.m. Sunday, police say officers responded to Renew Tallahassee, located at 1505 West Tharp Street, after hearing gunshots. Once officers arrived, they were approached by a man who advised he was not feeling well. Officers discovered the man had been shot in the groin area. He was transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Currently, there are no suspects and no arrests have been made. This is an active and ongoing investigation. Tallahassee is set to become the home of what organizers say will be the first of its kind indoor pickleball facility and entertainment venue. The pickle pad will feature 6 indoor courts, a full-service restaurant and bar, private areas for other games, and a pickleball training simulator. The site is being worked on at 1925 North Monroe Street, and the company said it will be opening in the spring. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon. Daytime highs approaching 70. Is out the west, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight. Lows level off around 55. Daytime highs approaching 80 and foggy early tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 75.
Power Mill Training Academy equips motivated athletes focused on baseball and softball with the specific tools to reach their true potential. Now, you'll read that if you go to their website, but I'm here to tell you that, look, whether it's your daughter wanting to play softball, your son wants to play baseball, or maybe they just want to have fun and get the most out of their abilities, and that's where Power Mill comes into play. They've got coaches and camps that teach for every level of play for your son or your daughter. To learn more, go to PowerMillSports.com. So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu. Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of, that nobody would know, and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com.
Riser. Not everybody is, so I always get to needle them on this day when we get to go out there and get to see these guys working. But I say it's a big day because it's a chance to see a whole lot of new faces and a whole lot of people that we're expecting an awful lot out of. I want to get into that here in just a second. First, just a reminder to all of you as the weather heats up. As you well know, it's getting nice outside soon. Some folks just can't help themselves. They have to take off their shirts. They want you to see the guns. They want you to see just what kind of shape they're in, or they're dreading the idea of you seeing what kind of shape they're in. Go to Orange Theory Fitness. Get locked in now, interval training the way the pros do. I may point to you guys, the Tread 50 is where it's at for me now. They have the Strength 50 as well, where you can just go all in on the weightlifting for the day and not worried about any of the cardio. And then on the other part of that, that's a bad way of saying it because you're getting cardio when you're lifting weights, but the other part of that is if you don't feel like lifting weights there, or maybe you have weights at the house or whatever, and you want to just do the cardio, well, then you can sign up for Tread 50. You can just go run your ass off and roll your ass off. So a lot of options now for folks that want to get involved in Orange Theory and get that expert training. 2 locations in town, orangetheoryfitness.com. Back to this, Tom, which is, again, us talking about getting a glimpse. I know you're jealous of tomorrow because, unfortunately, you'll be in New York, but you'll have the opportunity to hear all of us talk about these guys, what they look like. I'll call you on my way back from the facility so I can tell you, hey, wait till you get a load of so-and-so when you're here to cover spring football. There's going to be a guy like that. You know there is.
I'm sure I will be hearing what you have to say on the phone at the same time that I'm watching the video of the wrap from the Tour of Duty. You guys did one last year that was well received because we were all starved for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other part of it this year, which is cool, is that they're allowing videography. We're allowed to take B-roll and video of these workouts. That happened 2 years ago that we could do that, I believe, if COVID restrictions were gone by then. They were. It's 22. But last year, no, it was just still photography. So this is good. You're going to get to see some of these kids in action. Yeah. And with the turnover on the roster being as large as it is, you've got 20-some-odd players, I think, when you're including early enrollees. And there are a lot of important contributors to Florida State football that are just arriving here this year. The last season, when a Braden Fisk arrived and he was in a green jersey and only allowed to do so much, and Keon Coleman and some others arrived, they were the compliments. But I think the substance to this thing is going to be a lot about the newcomers, not just the complimentary pieces. Should be interesting to watch.
So Ira and I had a discussion when we just did the two of us yesterday for Seminole Headlines when we were talking about these players. And you know what I started thinking about after that show, looking ahead to this Thursday and same conversation we're having now, is how many guys we're really looking towards that could potentially alter just how good this team is, that will have a major impact on how good this team is. There are, golly, if you're just talking about high school and transfer portal guys, Tom, I don't know what that total number is, but it's over like 30, isn't it? It's well over.
Well, I think for all of the
working out physically, I know we've met all of them. I know we've met all the newcomers. They've provided them for interviews. I'm talking about seeing these guys working out, running combined combo, the high school kids and the transfer portal kids. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, especially when you get some of the summer enrollees in. But yeah, you're talking about at least a quarter of the roster, and it's going to be. It sets the stage. You know, there's other stuff to it too, where the different jersey colors, I'm sure they're doing that this year. The different jersey colors symbolize how far out the lung you are. Remember, there's the coding. I think it used to be the black jersey. I wonder if that's going to be a different color jersey this year. It was like the pinnacle of you're consistent every day. You're exceeding expectations every day, and it goes down the line. So you get to see a little bit of the caste system, if you will, and then you get to see also just some of the first blush observations, like. Some of the things that were right and wrong for me the last couple of years was Azaria Thomas is running in a group with Sam McCall, and I was more impressed with Azaria Thomas. Like, it wasn't even close.
Right.
I thought he was much more impressive. And that doesn't mean he's going to be a great football player, but it's just athletically, I'm like, wow, that looks like the 5-star. That kid right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year, Jeremiah Byers, I thought there's no way that this guy can't be your best offensive lineman and probably an interior offensive lineman with his agility and his speed. Well, just because he's a really good athlete didn't make him a great offensive lineman last year. He's got a chance to improve this season, but I wonder what those kinds of observations will be tomorrow. Like, again, last year, Hakeem Williams' workout was one of a kid who was not in shape, and the coaches even made light of it after it happened. I can't wait to see the dichotomy of last year's Hakeem versus this year's Hakeem in this specific workout.
The guys that I think most of us are going to be buzzing over, well, just to kind of piggyback on what you said there, Hakeem is going to be a guy that I'm looking at immediately, because I think for all of my talk about how good this team is going to be next year, I'm reliant on 5 or 6 guys that haven't produced a ton at the college level but have the potential to do so. So I'm talking about on both sides of the ball. Earl Little Jr., for example, Tom, is somebody that I think we're very excited about. Who's not excited to see what Marvin Jones Jr. looks like off the edge, in addition to the guys that you're bringing in from Oregon and Oregon State, excuse me, and then also West Virginia, and all those guys, all those people we've talked about that there's a chance can make a huge impact. But I think that's true of the Alabama players, just all the way across the board. You got a running back, you got a receiver, you got a defensive back, you got so many guys. And then the returning guys that I'm counting on to take that massive leap forward, number 1 on that list is Hakeem Williams. He's got to be great for Florida State to be – well, I think he's got to be really, really good for Florida State to be as good as I think they're going to be on offense next year.
Well, the receiver group in general is going to be fun to watch because you've got a lot of good athletes. I mean, we've talked about that a lot this week because it's in a lot of ways the most interesting battle that's coming up in the spring and in the fall. But you got a lot of really, really good athletes in that group. Like Malik Benson is made for a tour of duty.
Yes.
So's Destin Hill. So's Hakeem Williams. I know Kentron doesn't have maybe the top end speed, but he is an athlete, man. And then you're going to see some of the younger guys as well come in and how they fold in. You mentioned it to Ira, I think, the other day, but I wish that Elijah Moore was enrolled already because that would be fun to see.
I was excited about him, but he's not.
Yeah, he's not quite enrolled just yet. He'll be a summer enrollee. But, I mean, there's a lot of that going around where you're going to see top flight athletes. Florida State's reputation is now one of speed. Let's see how fast this team is. My guess is there's a lot of top end speed across the board. And then there's dudes that you're talking about, either the second year in the program or they're coming off of a year where they were banged up. Like Blake Nicholson, second year in the program. Can't wait to see what he looks like with some work with Josh Storms in the winter. How about Lucas Simmons at tackle? Can't wait to see what he looks like.
I'm glad you went there because I know we get caught up in the skill positions. All of us do. It's sexy, and they are going to be a lot faster than they were last year at wide receiver. A lot of their guys got hurt at wide receiver, and that's unfortunate. That's an understatement. But they brought in a lot of speed. It feels like they addressed that specifically. They were like, we are going to be faster come hell or high water. Even if we have injuries, we're going to be faster because we're bringing in a lot more people. But the offensive line last year was pretty damn average. And when we brought in Lucas Simmons, that was a guy that was a prototypical offensive tackle that people projected would be an NFL tackle. He just needed to get bigger up top. He had the legs for it already. He had great footwork already. Unfortunately, they had to put the brakes on him in a situation where he really had to kind of just stop doing what he was doing. And without getting into details, obviously, there was sort of just a medical situation there. But he is now good, cleared to go, ready to go. We all get excited about that. I contend that he has a chance to be an impact player this year. Most people don't agree. Most people say, nah, it'll be another year. I'm not so sure. He's kind of a freakish body type that since he's been given the green light, Tom, and you talk about Storms, that's a guy that could be ready because he's athletic for the size.
Yeah, I thought he was given more responsibility last spring towards the end of camp. That was eye-opening. It looked a little early at the time, but again, it just for the experience factor, you don't put a kid in there to fail or to stunt his growth. I wouldn't put it past Lucas Simmons to maybe be in a rotation or the two deep by the end of the year. If things continue to go, there's no setbacks or anything like that. If he's steady, able to get in those workouts every single day of spring camp and fall camp, and then practice during the week, yeah, why not? He could maybe get in the mix. But the guys that are closer to the mix, somebody like a Jalen Early, let's see what he looks like because the coaching staff is very excited about him. Julian Armella, it's kind of now or never this season to assert yourself.
I'm fascinated to see where he's at, Tom. That guy, there's no doubt. We're also trying to identify very early in the process. It's just a workout. Nobody's hitting each other tomorrow. Who's a candidate to not be here real soon? Let's be honest. I mean, we're going to go through these segment groups where the competition is stiff, and we're going to ask the question, especially if somebody comes into this thing tomorrow out of shape. But and I don't know. We'll see. Maybe nobody's out of shape. That'd be great. Certainly Mike Norvell has lauded this team's work ethic so far in the offseason and talked about how he thought the veteran influence of the players that are transferring in and their work ethic was outstanding. He talked about this team probably being the most in shape and best suited to go through these drills in a long, long time. So that's all positive. We'll see. But yeah, we're going to be identifying candidates here as we get set for spring football. Who are these groups of guys that probably will not choose to be here much longer after spring?
Well, on the offensive line, there's more guys. I mean, all these positions you can do this, but I'm rather fascinated by the trenches, and the offensive line could stand to be improved this year. But for Estes, this is a humongous camp. You talk about now or never. For Kanaya Charlton, it's year 3. You got to show some improvement. You don't have to be a redshirt sophomore two-deep guy, but you got to show some improvement. And then how about in year 2 for a kid like Andre Otto, who we liked? But Andre Otto looked the part of somebody who was just out of high school. So can he if he puts on some size, who knows, man, that kid's range of motion, his agility, maybe he could be in the mix. It's just, this is where it starts to get the conversation going. The hard part of all of this is you're going to get the taste tomorrow, and you got to wait about 12 days. You got to wait 12 days before the camp really starts.
The good news is you do get a spring break in there, and a lot of people will choose to take some downtime there, which will allow you to kind of get your mind right and avoid some problems, and then you come back ready to go. Come back ready to go. Be glad. By the way, we were talking about, I began the hour talking about Mike Norvell and how it was that they were this close to seeing him take his coaching acumen to Alabama, and we were this close to flying to Ole Miss to bring in their head coach, and that was interesting with Kiffin. But I also thought about this today as it pertains to Mike Norvell. Be glad that he's young and hungry, and there's no doubt that he is, because reading what Nick Saban had to say about why it was he retired and citing specifically certain things that made him mad speaks to his 72 years of age and a lot of coaches in college football not liking this era that we're in. Luckily for Florida State, while going through some transition in college football that is less than ideal, they have a young coach who's survived adapting and still energetic enough to handle all of it. You're going to like some of the quotes that I give you as we get into the next hour from Saban, including calling out his players after the loss to Michigan, which I think is odd, by the way, on your way out the door. Like, I'm not sure in that interview that it does you much good to say that your players, quote, showed their ass after the loss to Michigan. I don't know why you'd want to do that there, Nick, but I'm glad that you did because it's fun reading, and I'll get into some of those other quotes in just a moment. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, and Warchant TV.
Attention Florida, are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Hyson Leka Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Hyson Leka Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Hyson Leka Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now or visit HysonLekaLawFirm.com. Hyson Leka Law Firm, your advocate in times of need.
Treatment for the arthritic joints is normally cortisone injections and gel shots and over-the-counter medications. And most patients have tried all of that and are still in pain.
Every day, Dr. Aaron Wolkoff, a QC Kinetics medical director, meets patients who have exhausted every method to get relief. They've been told surgery is their only option.
They want to stay away from that path, and they come to us almost as the last hope. So we're using our own body's properties to help manage pain, to help slow arthritis down, keep the patients active with no downtime, and getting back to what they enjoy doing. I mean, I love what I do.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments from our board-certified providers help heal and restore aching joints. No surgery, harmful drugs, or downtime. Call for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 850-391-4280. That's 850-391-4280. 850-391-4280. Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Real Talk 93.3. Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Florida Gators baseball today, a $3.75 favorite over UCF. The Knights plus 270. Florida State minus 210 against Florida Gulf Coast plus 160. It's USF minus 105 at Jacksonville. minus 125. College basketball, UCF hosting Houston. Cougars are the 8.5-point road favorite, 130.5 the total. Jacksonville advances to the semifinals of the Atlantic Sun Tournament, knocking off the top-seeded Eastern Kentucky Colonels 67-65 as an 8.5-point underdog. They'll meet Stetson Thursday in the semifinals. Jacksonville 15-1 to win the tournament. Get your free VSiN subscription right now at VSIN.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Total by Verizon is wireless that goes all in for you. That means unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon, priced by us at $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan. And as always, no contracts. Sounds pretty hard to beat, but all in is all in. So we added international calling to fill the year with more, hey girl, because it can't be total unless it's all in. Find a store and exclusive deals at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate with autopay discount beginning the month after you enroll plus and fees. Additional restrictions apply. See website for data management practices and full terms.
At Paul's Termite and Pest Control, we know if you have something in your home that's not supposed to be there, you want it gone now.
Not in a couple of days, not tomorrow, but today. That's why we offer a same-day guarantee.
If you call Paul's before 12, one of our technicians will be out before 5. We guarantee it.
The health of you, your family, and your pets is why we promise to do everything possible to quickly resolve your problem.
And we do so using the safest chemicals. Notice a pest problem?
Call Paul's Termite and Pest Control before 12, and we're there before 5.
Call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control has been treating termites from the exterior of your home for about 25 years.
Paul's was the first to introduce the Centricon termite colony elimination system to North Florida and is the leader of this non-invasive treatment.
Instead of dumping gallons and gallons of harsh chemicals into our soil, Centricon uses environmentally sensitive treatments loaded in bait stations.
These stations are strategically placed around the home. If termites are present, they feed, take it back to the colony, which is shortly destroyed.
To learn more about Centricon
and a free consultation too,
call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
Excellence defines us, so we'll never let orthopedic pain and injury define you. TOC is a physician-led team of fellowship-trained specialists providing the highest level of orthopedic care in the region. With 12 centers of excellence and TOC Now urgent care clinics, our patients access affordable expert care fast. TOC, only experts. Schedule an appointment at teamtoc.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4,
construction going on at the football stadium. I like it. It's strangely soothing to me. I'm weird this way. It's like rain. I love rain. Whenever it rains, if I can sit out on my back deck, watch the rain come down. I'm an old man, but I've always been this way. Since a little kid, I liked watching rain. And strangely, every time we go to break and we have the camera shots of the construction being done at Doak, I'm like, yeah, man, I like that. I just want to sit and look at it. It doesn't make any sense. Some people are devastated by it. They look at it, they go, no, what's happened to Doak? But see, I remember when Doak was the erector set. I was coming to games with my father in 1980 and 81. I remember what a dump it was. It looked like a glorified high school. And so now I'm not averse to change. I'm like, okay, fine. Let's see what it's going to be. But the process strangely fascinates me.
I'm glad you're on board for that, because it was something that I decided when I saw that there was an Earth Cam of it, a live stream of the renovations. I thought, you know what, for the top of the hour, when we do the changeover, there's a couple extra minutes, might as well show the people what's going on. Have some fun with it. If Florida State's going to provide that for everybody to see, might as well watch it. And you're right. Even if it's just when you see the slides, that's every 30 minutes, there's an auto photo that's taken
right
of what's going on. So even if it's just you're watching like a dump truck move from the 20 to the 30, he's going to the 40. Like that's oddly satisfying.
I pulled it up. So my kids every now and then will say something to me about a topic we had on the air or whatever it might be. Or they'll ask me, did you talk about this today? What was your take on this, Dad? Some guys at school were talking about this. And so I can pull it up for them, the YouTube feed. If I'm just on my laptop doing work, I'll be like, oh, here's the YouTube feed right here. It was from earlier today. Here, this is what I said. But every time we do that, Tom, I'm like, oh, look, here's the construction of the stadium while we were in break. They're like, I don't care. No, but just look at it. It's soothing. It's outstanding. They don't see it the same way I do. And I'm just confessing to this love I have of what you've set up here for us during the break. I get nothing done. I'm about to look up a stat, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to look at the stat. Let me just look at this. It's outstanding.
So they do have a time lapse on the right, like one that's pretty aggressive, and we can do that once in a while if you want for the visual audience, where it's in a smaller window, so you'll have to zoom in a little bit, I think, on your own end. But it shows you fast, like what they've done over the last few months, and it is substantial. It is kind of bittersweet, though. You're like, oh, well, that piece of metal I sat on for when this play happened or that play happened.
Sure.
It's no more.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable. Those seats were never good. They weren't. You don't have to. I'm not talking about you, Tom, but people do this all the time. They're like, oh, well, I always love this. I mean, those seats suck. They've always sucked. They haven't been comfortable seats in forever. Let's get it together. Let's modernize the hell out of this stadium. Let's go.
I have not gotten to the age where sitting out there, although I haven't very much in a long time because of the nature of the gig, but I haven't gotten to the age where my back would be messed up for a day or two. But I know that there are a lot of you out there whose backs were messed up for a day or two. If you didn't have those chair backs, you had a problem. You had a sincere problem on a Sunday after sitting at Doak.
Well, and the way that it was structured is because, look, I joke about this all the time. America's fat. We're a bunch of fat asses. And now all these fat asses trying to pile into what was the proper circumference of the seat back in the day. It's not that anymore. So you just got that guy's fat all up on you. Nobody wants that. So let's get it right. Let's get it right. Fewer seats, more comfortable seats, and less of that dude's fat all up on you. Nobody wants the deal. It's going to be okay. I get it. Now, listen, that doesn't mean that I'm not empathetic for those that either couldn't re-up for whatever reason or couldn't afford to or whatever it might be. I mean, I get that change is hard and some people get left out in the cold, and I don't like that. But there's just no other way to do it. There's no other way to do it. So I hate it, but I can still be excited about what it's going to look like and what it's going to be. I hope they don't screw it up. I love the renderings. But you never know until you get over there, right?
That is correct. Yeah, there's a lot of apartment renderings I've seen over the years as either a student or a young professional. Well, that apartment complex looks badass, and then I get there and I go, not what the pictures look like. They didn't show that these rundown stains on the walls and that raggedy carpet, the patchwork. No, guess I'm going to go somewhere else. Those renderings were lies. They're almost like Bosley commercials.
Well, we don't know if the Bosley stuff is untrue or not. I don't know anybody with the Bosley. I've not met anybody who's gone Bosley. I just chose to be bald, but there was a brief snippet of time where I almost made a catastrophically bad decision and thought about Bosley. I don't want to lose my hair anymore. I want that Bosley look. Look at that. It looks real, and you can comb it and it grows, and you brush it and cut it and all that. But you're saying that's all a lie. Hair Club for Men never looked real. When you used to see the Hair Club for Men commercials, you'd be like, oh, come on, man. What are we doing here? That doesn't look right. The Bosley people, I'm like, it's your real hair, Tom.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's real hair. It comes from the back here.
Oh, sure. It comes from your pits.
No, it comes from the back with a crown that never goes away. You never lose that. So then you put it back up here. Then you're good to go. And then you got your free-flowing locks. That's what they say anyhow. I don't know if it works that way or not. There you go. There's the stadium.
Give you a little time lapse.
Your music to go with it. How about that?
I cut the music. There we go. Cut the music.
The rain, yeah. Yeah. I will tell you, see, look at that. Look at that. You can't stop watching it. It's fantastic. We could do this for an hour. We'd make for terrible radio who can't see this at all. Sorry, guys, you're driving about going, I wish I could see it. You do. You wish you could. It's amazing. That said, I do worry. I read a story. I'm going to get back to the Saban thing that I teased during the break, before the break. I asked this question because of what I was reading. I saw where there was an article that came out. I think it's our friend Andrea Adelson was tasked with putting together the top 25 teams season-defining games. Sorry, I was trying to think of how to say that. In the upcoming year. And what will be the season-defining game. So I scrolled down. I don't really care what Penn State's season-defining game is. I'm going to scroll down to get to where Florida State is, or I'm not really concerned about Missouri's season-defining game. So I went to ours, and it reads as follows. The answer shifted to LSU the last few seasons, but we'll go back to an old standby this year. Clemson is what she writes. Both teams are expected to be amongst the favorites to win the ACC championship, and they play in Tallahassee on October the 5th. The obvious juicy storyline with DJ facing his old team and quarterback who took the job in Cade Klubnik. Florida State will already played 4 conference games in a true quirk of its schedule. What happens against Clemson could truly determine whether it has a shot at back-to-back ACC championships. 2 other huge games loom too, a road contest against Miami, and then two weeks later, a big matchup against Notre Dame. So Clemson, I would say that's about right, although I think Miami's a little bit closer to being a season-defining game this year than it's been in a long time, partly because it's always a big and defining moment and that it's an arch rival, but they're actually maybe good enough to challenge for something that they rarely challenge for, and that's being anywhere close to an ACC championship game. So that may turn out to be what looms large here. But back to the point of her choosing Clemson, don't care to talk about that except for that game is on October the 5th in Tallahassee. And what is the home football game experience going to be like for fans this season? Because the advantage that you typically have, and there is a distinct advantage in college football, unlike pro football, in college football, man, it does have some real sway. And I wonder, does Florida State have any kind of a home field advantage next year?
I don't know how many seats are going to be available. Like, they have their estimates of, you're giving up X amount of seats. There might be 10,000, 15 on that. So I really don't know what it's going to look like. Acoustics wise too, you might have a bunch of sound just get absorbed by the gap or the guts of the construction that's over on the alumni side. What I can tell you is, and now I'm starting to date myself, for the Florida State Clemson game in 2010, 14 years ago this fall, this is the E.J. Manuel spot start. You got 2 good offensive plays, the first deep post to Rodney Smith and then an E.J. run late. And you got the Dustin Hopkins 55-yarder walk-off kick. There were only about 50 to 55,000 fans in the stands that particular night, and it got loud. Like, I was down on the field. I was allowed to shoot video in those days. I was shooting video on the field the final 5-6 minutes of the game. And I noted that, man, this is legitimately loud. This is not like Lost Decade loud. So you can make it happen. I just wonder from an acoustic standpoint, if you have a giant gap over there, how is that going to affect the thing and affect the way the sound bounces around the stadium?
Yeah, I'm worried about it too. That's a game that would ordinarily be very, very loud. There'd be a pressing matter at hand here. Like, we want to win the ACC. It's all on the line right now against that team. We know, you got to survive it. This is part of it. I mean, you're going to be dealing with a lot of weird stuff next year. The schedule it's a tough schedule, but I like the way it's set up. We've said that time and again, but you probably do lose some element of your home field advantage next year in some of the bigger games that you play there.
A suggestion I have, I doubt they have the manpower to fulfill it and make it happen, because they don't have the person power to help with the concessions as it is this past season. But there really needs to be an impetus on Lang Memorial Champions Club members and sitting in their seats this season.
Like, get your ass in the seats.
You gotta be adding to the decibel count. We need you now. You'll never again. I don't need to say more than ever, more than we'll ever be. We'll need you this year. So maybe if we could have some folks that like the old school cold beer here, and maybe you got a mobile bar. You got a guy coming down there. He's shaking. There's ice makers and all kinds of stuff, and he could fill you a cocktail.
Ice to lure them out of the air conditioning and into their seats. Yes.
We need you now in the Memorial Champions Club more than ever to make some noise. This is the one. This is not the time to be standing up there having a party. You got to be in your seats, because every voice counts.
I miss the cold beer here guy. Now, not that ever happened at Doak, but just in general, going to baseball games all those years. Cold beer here. I always liked that. I always loved that. That's good. Even when I was a little kid, it was just part of it. And all right, there, that guy's got some cold beer. I like that he says that it's cold. One would assume you're not selling hot beer, but I always love that.
There was a guy, as I get older, this name sounds funnier, but a guy named Honey Brother at Raymond James Stadium, well, the old Houlihan Stadium, I should say, because he would call you're either honey or your brother based upon your gender. Hey, honey, all right, 22, and then they pass the beers down.
Pass them all down, yeah.
How you doing, brother? 19, and then he passed it down. He passed the cash over. But that was the guy that was always on the I think it was the north sideline at Houlihan that was always making the money.
Everybody very trusting back in the day. Lots of money exchanging hands, being passed way the hell down. Hey, that's my drink. And all that. You had that. That's my beer. Yeah, everybody. But they did it. Rarely did you see a fight. You could trust old Willie at the end of the line there. He's been coming to these games for a long time. He's good for it. He'll get here. We're going to be okay.
It's true. If you were sitting in somewhere near the aisle of a Buccaneers game, you probably $60 went over towards the aisle itself. And about 12 beers got passed over the other way. Yeah, that's about right.
And I'll tell you something else. I don't know why, and I've been back to a million games. I went to the old Tampa Stadium back in the day a ton. Obviously, since it's been Raymond James, been there a ton. Something about going to Bucs games in the 80s was the hottest damn experience in the history of humanity. I don't know why, but it was insane. Every Bucs game I was ever at in the early and mid 80s felt like death. Like we are on the surface of the sun. How does anybody play football in this?
1996, the first game in the new uniforms, the Bucs wore white, which we always do. We should never wear the red uniforms. And that was against San Francisco, and they concussed Steve Young in that game, and one of many in his career, so he was out. Bucs win. That was akin to the USF Florida State game in 2009 in Tallahassee. Yeah. That game, we were close enough to the sideline to feel the Cool Zone fans. Remember the giant Cool Zone fans?
Yeah, the keep you from dying fans, yes.
Our saving grace was the players' Cool Zone fans. That's how hot it was.
It was ruthless. I just remember many times going, my pant leg rose up and I got burnt. It was the worst. Okay, I'll get to these Saban quotes, I promise. I didn't get to them this segment, but I will next. Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Attention, Florida. Are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Hyson Lika Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Hyson Lika Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Hyson Lika Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now or visit HysonLikaLawFirm.com. Hyson Lika Law Firm, your advocate in times of need.
delicious Smitty's Tap House and Grill for delivery directly to your doorstep. Just visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com, click the Order Online button, and choose pickup or delivery. Enjoy Smitty's famous handmade pretzel with beer cheese, juicy pub burger, or even the amazing schnitzel sandwich, delivered fresh right to your doorstep. Support local and order online today for takeout or delivery at Smitty'sTapHouse.com, where everybody knows his name.
Your heating and air conditioning system doesn't check with you before it takes a break. That's why we're always ready to help. Any day, anytime, anywhere. And with our annual service agreement, there are no overtime charges. Ever. At Verno Heating and Air, we will always be there for you.
Verno Heating and Air Conditioning.
CC 1816186.
Power Mill Training Academy equips motivated athletes focused on baseball and softball with the specific tools to reach their true potential. Now, you'll read that if you go to their website, but I'm here to tell you that, look, whether it's your daughter wanting to play softball, your son wants to play baseball, or maybe they just want to have fun and get the most out of their abilities, and that's where Power Mill comes into play. They've got coaches and camps that teach for every level of play for your son or your daughter. To learn more, go to PowerMillSports.com.
I'm Greg Tisch here to share one of my favorite TCC stories. In the summer of 1966, Eugene Lamb wanted to stay in shape before leaving to play college basketball in Louisiana. So he jogged to Tallahassee from his home in Midway and helped lay the bricks for the first building on what's now the TCC campus on Appleyard Drive. Today, he is a longtime member of the TCC District Board of Trustees. It's no exaggeration when we say Trustee Lamb helped build TCC into what it is today.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
If you've been waiting and waiting for the perfect time to buy your new house, you'll be waiting forever. This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I have been a mortgage lender for over 20 years. And I can tell you that there is no such thing as perfect timing. So take the first step towards your new home and let me show you what that really looks like. Chances are very high that you'll be very surprised at what I can help you do. When rates go low, prices go high, and that home that you've been eyeballing could be gone. If you're wondering how the drop in interest rates is going to affect your payment, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to show you all of the options available to get you into your new home. And for every single loan that we close for a fellow Knoll, I will personally donate $250 per closing to the Battle's End. Let's do this together and let's keep climbing. Call me today at 954-369-6171. That's 954-369-6171. Or you can find me online at loansforknolls.com. That's loansforknolls.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at
neighborhood, multi-neighborhood, Zaxby's is there for you at your beck and call. 83 locations here in Tallahassee and over 19 years now of being a Golden Chief booster, helping out. So much about aiding programs, getting programs where they need to be. Well, you've got the owner of Zaxby's doing the right thing, providing delicious food and support for Florida State athletics. That's a great thing. We mentioned it yesterday. I'll mention it again today. I think we're building up steam towards it. And I'm talking about Friday. You guys driving through, don't worry yourself about the cooking that night. It's Friday. We're starting the weekend. For many, it's the start of spring break. Get you the platters. Get you the big old platters, and let's celebrate some time, some downtime together over delicious is another way to say that word, chicken fingers. There you go.
Platters are a nice match, very nice match for the tailgates too. So next week, there's a big home series with Notre Dame. It's a little extra link, Jared.
Oh.
Yeah, right. You got some subtext there, but those games are going to be well attended. I mean, hell, Western Carolina a couple of weeks ago, that Saturday game had 5,500 strong, maybe 6,000 strong. You just want to be out there. You want to be feeling the vibe. Don't worry about the grill. Don't worry about the other stuff. Just go get you a platter. Some days are for grilling, but some days are for kicking back and opening that beer one grill session early. Gets you an extra 30, 45 minutes.
Former Alabama coach Nick Saban said he knew a while ago that his time with the program was coming to an end. The 72-year-old legend of the game sat down recently with ESPN. It's a lengthy interview in which he's began contemplating retirement at the end of 2022. It's interesting, Tom. We heard these rumors dating back to around then. Fortunately, for those of us on this side of the ledger, we all know people who cover either the SEC or college football in general, or specifically, we know people who cover Alabama. And those whispers were getting louder and louder. And every time one would come our way, I would say, and it's the ultimate testament to who Nick Saban was and his successful campaign year in and year out, please do. Sweet Jesus, what are you waiting on? You've won a gazillion titles. You've made more money than you could ever spend. You've changed your great-great-great-great-great-grandson's life already with the money you've made. Can we just take it on down the damn road? And he finally did. We began the show by mentioning how that almost had a adverse effect on Florida State. It did not, but it worked out. Cost us a little bit of money, but it worked out. So he steps away after the loss to Michigan, and he says, I want to be clear in this interview, that wasn't the reason, but some of the events certainly contributed. I was disappointed in the way that the players acted after that game. You have to win with class, and you have to lose with class. We had opportunities to win that game, and we didn't do it. And then showing our ass and being frustrated and throwing helmets and stuff like that, that's not who we are and what we've promoted in our program. So he was frustrated by that. And then he was frustrated that when they got back to Tuscaloosa, remember when I teased this earlier, I said, be glad that your coach is young. Be glad that Mike Norvell is in a good place, in a good frame of mind, in a good age to be dealing with a lot of stuff that Nick is pointing out here, but that other coaches have pointed out as well, and seem to, many anyhow, have an agreed upon concern, right? You want a young guy when things are transitioning and not everything is coming up roses, because they can deal with that. They don't have a choice. They're early in their career. They still have a ton of goals out in front of them and a lot of money to make. When you're tired and you're 72 and you've seen it all and done it all and won it all, you don't have to put up with it. And many of the guys who don't have to put up with it are riding out or thinking about going to the pros or finding another way to apply their expertise. They got back to Tuscaloosa, and Alabama met with a ton of members of the team, and he said that the majority of the players whom he talked to after that loss were worried about an increased role on the team. They wanted an increased role on the team, and they were expressing those concerns, or they wanted more financial gain through NIL initiatives, with talk of the transfer portal looming as a piece for leverage. Quote, I thought we could have had a hell of a team next year. And maybe 70 or 80% of the players that I talked to, all they wanted to know was two things. What assurances do I have that I'm going to start? And how much more money can I make in NIL? Our program here was always built on how much value we can create for your future and your personal development, academic success in graduating, and developing an NFL career on the field. So I'm saying to myself, maybe this just doesn't work anymore, that the goals and aspirations are different. And it's all about how much money a college kid can make at this time. I'm not saying that's a bad thing necessarily. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that it's never been what we were about before, and it's not why we had success through the years. Yeah, that's him saying that priorities have shifted. The opportunities are there for these players now in ways they never were before. I do like that he at least pivoted to the fact that he doesn't think it's wrong, but he is saying, I just didn't have the time nor the inclination to deal with it. It was time to walk. Yes, I agree. It was time to walk. And I don't know that there are too many 72, 73, 74-year-olds that are going to say, Yeah, I'm down for this. I love it. This is awesome. They're not. We're seeing coaches like Kelly and others decide to take lesser roles so they can just coach and not have to deal with all of that stuff, right? It's going to continue to happen until there's a little bit more in the way of clarity about how this works and what the rules are. And I don't think there are too many guys in their 60s or beyond that are going to embrace this and come to work with a fresh attitude, ready to get after it every day.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think for Saban, they still did some of the things that he says they didn't do. It's just that it never came to this level. It never rose to this level. And I won't get into the society part of it. Be Jimbo for a second. No, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. I think he was correct to qualify it, like you said, and put himself in a position where I'm not saying it's wrong, because you can't blame the kids. This is the system put before the kids. If they don't do that to a degree, command the dollar value they have now, it's like if you go on a game show and you could choose 20 grand in front of you or what's behind curtain number 2, and you got a medical bill, I'm going to take the 20. You know, the NFL I might not make it, so I'm going to take the one for me.
Really quick on that point, Tom, and I've showered them with praise for the right reasons. It's a good thing the Battles Inn has been organized and has been about more than just money. They've really had the whole person in mind here. I sound like I'm creating a commercial, but it's been true, and that's why they've been successful. That is my opinion, but I think it's also accurate to say that. Well, listen, man, Jordan Travis may not make any money in the NFL. Good thing he made a lot of money here. There are a lot of kids like that in the past would have had nothing to fall back on. They weren't either a fit in the NFL. They weren't quite good enough, but they were really good college players. And the university was able to sell jerseys and tickets and all the other stuff off of them. And the head coach could make $11, $12 million a year, but the kid couldn't. And we wanted that to change, and that has changed. There are good aspects of all of this, but it does need some sort of regulatory, universally agreed upon system, as opposed to willy-nilly. And just at this point, we're watching this transition, and it's difficult. Old guys are not going to be good with that. They're not.
The part that I like about it, though, Saban, he is what he is in legendary status. I'm not questioning that. I'm not qualifying that. He found a way to climb the mountain at 2 different places with a lot of resources, but he found a way to get the most out of those resources.
Oh, yeah.
But I do like the idea of him saying, wait a minute, so we've got to live like everybody else? We've got to do what everybody else has to do with NIL? I don't want to play anymore. Like, I do enjoy that part of it. I get age is a huge factor in this. But also, I like the idea of he's thinking, this is how everybody else has to do it. Well, that's not fair. It's actually more fair. It's more fair than it's ever been, Nick. Now, if you don't want to be a part of it, then get out of here. And he's like, well, I don't want to be a part of it, but I'm going to keep an office in Tuscaloosa because I'm going to keep tabs on it. Like, it's kind of funny, and it might lead to some serious dysfunction in Alabama for some time to come.
Yeah, I got no problem with name, image, likeness. I got no problem with players making money off their name, image, and likeness. I do want there to be regulations and rules governing all of it. I think it's coming. I think it's going to happen. And I do think there are aspects of it that are very good for the game of football. But you could graduate from there, and he didn't get into this, and this quote's not in the article, but I think there's another part of this, Tom. It's not just that player A or B said, hey, I want to know that I can make more money coming into next year. I want assurances that there's more NIL there. I think we're talking about the professionalism of collegiate sports taking another step forward with the Super 2. I think that's really where this is headed. And you've heard in the last few days more and more people bring this up. You saw where Trent Dilfer brought this up, and he was talking about venture capitalists and others looking to invest in owning college football teams. Good God, man. Because they couldn't own a pro football team. They're just going to buy a college team. They'll provide all the money necessary for NIL. That is scarier than hell.
It's also just a reminder of where we are, that if you think it's going nuts and the system's kind of crazy, well, you're right. You're right. It is. But good thing we've got a guy who can navigate these choppy waters. He's almost like one of those what's the sea? You watch all these shows where the fishermen are in the sea that kills so many each year. The fishing boats crash. What sea is that? Is it?
Well, there are several of these, but off the coast of Alaska is where a lot of people are killed several times over.
Mike Norvell is like a boat captain, and he's an Alaska fisherman because these waters are raging, man. These waters are raging, and he finds a way to always get out there and get back, and he brings quite the haul with him.
I like that you used deadliest catch.
That's the name of the show. I've never seen it, but I know it exists. And I've seen the videos of these are on like IG all the time too.
That's right.
The stunts the guys could do, they make themselves look like they're flying as the boat's rocking back and forth. That's my man. That's Mike. That's what he's doing, because those waters are college football right now.
Oh, it's awful. I would hate it. I get it when guys decide, I just want to go be a coordinator. Let me call plays. I don't want to deal with this. I love coaching. I like making kids better, and I want to call plays. I don't want to have to deal with all this nonsense. But if you're 42, 43, 44, whatever, early in your career as a coach, you got a lot of money to make and a lot of energy to spend. Like, you can do this. You can do this because it's going to come around. We're going to see a little bit clearer methodology for how college football is run, whether it be those teams that break off and aren't part of the Super 2 or those that join. And right now we're just waiting on that.
Yeah, the one thing that happened before the players got taken care of, and everybody freaks out when the players get a little bit of share of the pie. It's amazing how the coaching salaries kind of match the revenue increases in television. Like, nobody had a problem with the coaching salaries being modernized and coordinators making $1 million, $1.5 million, and now Adam Fuller's making $2 million, and he's I remember when Will Muschamp was the first to make $1 million as a coordinator. It's like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. The exponential rise of head coaching salaries. Like, people might be perturbed by it, but they don't scream bloody murder. But the market was able to shift for the coaches, and I think can't hide the size of the market now for the players as well.
Well, one of the things that I always did admire about Nick Saban, and it's the opposite of Dabo Swinney's situation. Saban, and I'm paraphrasing right now, many, many years ago said, with the amount of money I make, if I were allowed to do it, I could take $1 million off the top and invest it in my players. And I would do that if I were allowed to do it. Like, he understood that was unequitable. It wasn't fair the way the situation worked out, where coaches could make $15, $16, $17 million and have their Nike contracts and everything else, and that the players couldn't. Yeah, he understood that was nonsense. But so that's why I don't get on him as much. And he is smart to qualify, because he knows that we're both going to go, what the hell are you talking about, sir? You've made untold millions off this situation. So yeah, he knows enough to know that. He knows enough to know that. I'm just, once again, going to reiterate that it's really fortunate we've got a young coach in the midst of all the turbulent waters that we're speaking of. Deadliest catch and all, because you would not want to have an old man at the end of his career, because I think it's expediting the process of peace. I am the hell out of here. I'm not dealing with this. I do think, though, again, while we don't have everything buttoned up and the NCAA has been deemed impotent, and college football feels a little rudderless currently, that as this happens, you are going to watch in the coming months several relatively decent-sized names in college football, either as coordinators or head coaches, opt to ride out if they have an NFL landing strip. Like, I think they will. And why would you not?
Yeah, if you're not in one of the power programs where you're going to be making $8 to $10 million as a head coach, or you can make that kind of money, then sure. But that's the thing that keeps you here too. Is I just argued it one way, I'll argue it the other way. If the coaching salaries were the same as they were 15 years ago, nobody would do this. Nobody would be the head coach.
Nobody would.
You could go become a special teams coordinator for Seattle, and you could make something on the level with a coordinator salary in college football. You just go do that. I'll just go do that. But because there is a whole lot of potential reward to be a coordinator at a school like this, or a head coach at a Power 5 institution that cares about football, the juice is worth the squeeze. Is your life hell? Yeah, but you know what? They're not getting paid $2 million anymore. You're getting paid $8 or $10 if you're at the pinnacle of the profession.
Don't know if a story broke that we're unaware of, Tom, or that your host here decided to ignore, but we've been able to have 1,300 people jump in on a random Balls McWednesday.
So there are tons of people watching here. The YouTube audience is as robust as it usually is. I can get into a conspiracy theory on this if you like, or I can just leave the mystery out there. It's your call.
I like the mystery to remain.
Okay.
Attention, Florida. Are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Heisen Legal Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Heisen Lincoln Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Heisen Lincoln Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now or visit HeisenLincolnLawFirm.com. That's Heisen Lincoln Law Firm, your advocate in times of need, offices Tampa.
News now.
A 14-year-old boy was left with injuries after being shot during the overnight hours Monday. Just after 1:15 a.m. Monday, police say officers dispatched to the 2200 block of Keith Street regarding the shooting. Upon arrival, officers found a 14-year-old boy suffering from a gunshot wound. He was transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Currently, there are no suspects and no arrests have been made. This is an active and ongoing investigation. A familiar voice and face at Florida State is set to get a special broadcast honor. Gene Deckerhoff, former voice of the Seminoles and current Tampa Bay Buccaneers radio play-by-play announcer, has been named to the inaugural class of the Florida Broadcasters Hall of Fame. For many years, Deckerhoff's calls could be heard at FSU football and men's basketball games on the radio. He retired from announcing FSU broadcast in 2022. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon. Daytime highs approaching 79. Winds out the west, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies. Tonight, lows level off around 55. Daytime highs approaching 80 and foggy early tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 80.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The Bonko Lechong, Jeff?
Is that what is the pork?
The Bonko Lechong, Jeff.
Okay, the Bonko Lechong. It's delicious. All of these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of, that nobody would know, and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at
I don't know. I think I'm in lockstep right now. I'm in a good place when it comes to some Redemption Thursday style wagers for tomorrow and for the golf at Bay Hill. But your boy hit a little parlay last night. And I don't even like to bet parlays all that much. It's a sucker's bet. They want you to bet parlays. But last night, I'm pulling it up here to see what I had again. Had a little Illinois first half action, Tom. Illinois first half action last night, along with a North Carolina cover and Dayton and Ohio wins parlay that paid well.
Ooh.
Paid well, yeah. You like it?
Now, what kind of market research did you do to put that together?
Well, this is the time of year we're going into conference tournaments, and you also have a lot of senior nights, Tom. And so when you get these emotional senior nights, you got to take advantage with these first half plays. See, Illinois is not good enough to beat Purdue when Purdue's playing well, but they're good enough to be fired up on a senior night to have a lead at the half. So that's the kind of fun and games we have around here when you bet, buddy.
Here's just when I'm thinking maybe you're going to take it easy on a Tuesday. You prove that no, I'm not taking it easy at all. I'm looking at senior night props and senior night first half lines. I like it.
I spruce up my Tuesday nights. Spruce them up. Tuesdays generally suck. They're just Tuesday. You're not a Wednesday. You're certainly not a Friday. You're not even an exciting start to the week like a Monday. You're certainly not a weekend. You're a sorry-ass Tuesday is what you are. You got nothing. I need to spruce you up with some gambling insights.
So if I see on the social channel of some of these betting apps a handle named Spruce Springsteen, I know who that's going to be. I know who that is. That's you.
That would be funny, by the way. I like it. But I'm a big fan. I love the I don't know. I think you can find some angles, and then if they happen to be on a Tuesday, it's that time of year. And, we got these tournaments. I'll tell you what, if I were a lesser man, Tom, I would have bet Pitt all day long to beat Florida State. I couldn't do it. I don't like to do it, but it was the easiest win in the world. Florida State sucks. It wasn't going to be good. We can't shoot a lick. I don't like watching them. I'm frustrated beyond reason. I already gave you that. This bell can be thrown into a trash heap. It's done. I can't even. That's it. That's all you got right now. The beep beep wouldn't even want us. Done. Hate it. Frustrated to no end. Magical run in Charlotte, Tom. That's all you got left, buddy.
It's Washington, D.C. this year.
Oh, D.C. What did I say? Charlotte? I'm so used to
it's
the
a good
ACC
guess.
screwing everybody, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good guess. Every ACC champion forevermore is going to be played in North Carolina.
I think Cam Young breaks through to start tomorrow at Bay Hill. You think that maybe we got a little pizza money on Cam Young to finish in the top 20? I'm going to go with that.
I think if you've got pizza money on anybody finishing in the top 20 in Florida, I'm listening, first of all. You had Minwoo Lee
last week, and he finished second. I almost really cashed the chips, buddy. Almost really. I had him top 20, top 10, top 5, and winner.
Oh, man.
I made all my money back for not winning. I mean, I got it back and then some.
Yeah.
Because all of those hit, certainly. That's the beauty of golf betting, by the way. You identify 4 or 5 guys at 30-1, 40-1, 60-1, 200-1, and you bet them in these, top 20 finishes, head-to-head matchups, top 5 finishes, and you are good to go.
I watched the final Monday finish on the flight up between naps, and
he cut it to one stroke. Were you like, oh, buddy?
I was like, oh man, okay, Minwoo, I see you working here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. So Cam Young has been hunting around the first page of the leaderboard often, so that wouldn't surprise me if he had a top 20 at Bay Hill. I would imagine that that's pretty even odds. What is it, like plus 250, plus 300?
I haven't made the bet yet. I'm going to make it as soon as the show ends. So I will look at that. But I like Cam Young this week. I kind of like Burns, who's been playing very, very well and likes Florida. So Burns and Young is not a bad pick there too. Love that as well. There's a ton of guys that have had good form at this tournament, and a lot of times it holds the form. I like the kid Aberg. I've been to Abor as he's known now. A lot of people love him too. You can look at past winners here like Jason Day. By the way, I didn't know this. Jordan Spieth has back-to-back top 4 finishes here. I don't know why. Yeah, he's been really good there.
I had no idea about that. No.
I know. Well, he's at a stage of his career where if he doesn't win, you just don't even notice. But yeah, he's been. See, this is where you can make some money on guys with forms. Scheffler's got a new putter in the bag. I don't know if that's a good thing or a desperate thing, buddy.
No, okay. So here's my theory. You got a senior night theory. New putter in the bag. Play the under on the first round with it, and then play the over the rest of the weekend.
He returns to form after whatever placebo he believes it to be. Yeah.
Yeah. You might even maybe Friday you lay off, and then you see what he does Friday, and then you bet Saturday, Sunday. But a lot of times that first round, ignorance is bliss, and then your demons set back in. So, yeah, I like the under for the first day. I did look it up. Cam Young is a minus 105 proposition at top 20. So even money going in.
Okay. Okay. Well, I got several leagues. I've got the we can bet the, obviously in the state of Florida, you can bet the Hard Rock app, but then you've also got DraftKings where you can do fantasy golf and bet teams and make a lot of money that way. And that's all legal, by the way, even in the state of Florida. And then, of course, you've got the good old-fashioned bookie, which we also have. And you can just bet illegally all you want. And then I'm also in a money league. So no matter what, I got a lot riding on Bay Hill. Let's have some fun with a little Bay Hill this weekend. And you're right, the Florida swing is always my cup of tea, so it's a lot of fun. We had a question in the chat, the Heisen Lincoln chat, I wanted to get to, and I lost it. It was a question regarding, not going to find it. I'll come back to it. It's a terrible way, but I don't want to end the show on that. We'll come back, wrap it up momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
You know what happens when a smart group of medical professionals get together and commit to a technology designed to relieve your aching joint? It's called QC Kinetics.
And this guy knows the power of a solid team. Emmitt Smith, football legend and Dancing with the Stars champ.
This elite medical group, some of them orthopedic doctors, got together and said, why are we prescribing so many medications? Why are we sending so many people to surgery in droves? Let's change this.
The answer? Natural biologics, our own healing properties. And the outcome is the country's largest provider of non-surgical regenerative treatments, QC Kinetics.
Actually, the real outcome are the tens of thousands of patients who finally got their quality of life back without surgery, thanks to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 850-391-4280. That's 850-391-4280. 850-391-4280.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
What will the Noles do to follow up and unconquer 2023? Warchant.com, the market leader in FSU football and sports coverage, is the place to find out. Join the largest FSU fan community and talk Seminoles sports in Warchant's Travel Council and premium recruiting message board forum. Enjoy special access to multimedia elements like Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, and Seminole Headlines, plus exclusive forums with FSU student athletes and a members-only discount to Garnet and Gold. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source. Head to Warchant.com and sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com.
Pull up the probables, as it's known, and we will be able to get those out there to you. I could have done it today. I mean, there are games out there, but they're spring training games, and I don't feel like doing, hey, everybody, Guardians got Tristan McKenzie on the hill. I'm not doing that, but buddy, I've already projected ahead. We're good to go. Not just screwing Mitch Keller's on the hill today for the Pirates, by the way.
Nice. 3 weeks from tomorrow will be a Corner Pocket watching opening day together. That'll be fun.
We will be, and I really look forward to it. Pirates open 4-game set down in Miami to face the Marlins, which I'll probably make my way down to after we have that fun opening day on that Thursday. I do want to say we've been asked a lot. Tom, do we want to say that we're finally going to make official announcements tomorrow on the Jeff Cameron Show regarding the Jeff Cameron Show Warchant Golf Tournament?
Yes, we will. We'll have a link to sign up and everything. So the date announcement, the link to sign up, and then we'll be good to go.
Okay, so it's tomorrow. We've had, and I love this, and I mean this with great sincerity. It's awesome because it benefits charity, and it's really, really important in that we have a lot of fun doing it. But people this thing has grown. It's been incredible. We've got people who are sliding into our DMs, Tom, and in our emails saying, hey, any information, any early info you want to give me on that golf tournament? I got some dudes flying in from Portland. I got a guy flying in from Chicago, a couple of dudes flying in from North Carolina that want to be part of it. That's cool. This thing continues to fill up quick. So you're going to you're going to want to join us in the first you want to join the show just period, but first hour tomorrow we'll get that out there to you.
Yeah, first hour is going to be loaded because we'll have tour of duty observations from you. I'll have observations from the photos and the videos that I can watch on Warchant TV and Warchant.com.
Yeah.
And then, of course, yes, we can roll that information out. There's some good stuff coming too. That this year's event you're going to be well taken care of as long as you make sure that you eat enough for you 21 plus golfers out there. You're going to have a really good day. We're going to make sure of that.
Eat enough. When Tom tells you to eat enough, you know the kind of good day we're talking about here. You've got to be fueled for the kind of fun that you can have in this particular tournament. And Second Harvest is going to benefit again. So that's always really cool too. And we just got done playing the course. It's in great shape. And I imagine it's only going to get better and better, Tom. So we're going to be we'll be able to fill this sucker up really quickly and we'll have a blast with that. So those that have been asking, that's what you got. And then from there, it is a lot of baseball. It is a lot of spring football to get through tomorrow morning. What's your prediction on who we're most wowed by?
Most wowed by? Ooh, that's a toughie because there's usually two classes of that. There's the freshmen, and then there's the overall players. And in this day and age, transfers. I think the running back's going to be talked about tomorrow. I think Roydale Williams is somebody that we'll talk about a lot. Cam Davis, of course, is somebody that's going to come up. Because
I'm excited to see that kid, buddy.
Yeah, he's in the freak category of a freshman. I think the defensive ends are going to be talked about a lot because you got three new ones who are going to be opposite Patrick Payton and three transfers who are capable in Durajaye, Lilahea, and of course, Barber Jones Jr. I think you're going to be pleased physically with what you see with Sean Murphy, the linebacker. I think you're going to like Earl Little as well. Yeah, there's going to be a lot. We're probably going to need 2 segments to break it all out and break it all down.
Florida State baseball in about 1 hour from right now. You can watch that game if you're not going over to Hauser, but I would suggest, as beautiful a day as it is, roll on over to Hauser. Weird start time, 4 o'clock. I'd prefer this be a night game where I could just leisurely head on over there. But Florida Gulf Coast is in town. Florida State trying to continue their winning ways and get to 11-0. They've been impressive. Offensively, they've been a top 10 team in the country. They have been deeper and better as a pitching staff, and that's a good thing. And I would also point to the fact that tonight is a great opportunity for Connor Whitaker to continue to pitch really well in these Tuesday games. It's his third start of the season. He's been very, very good so far. He's pitched 11 1/3 innings, struck out 14 batters. He's only walked 2. He's given up 4 unearned runs in those starts. So we shall see. Hey, buddy, good work out of you as always. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you later. Good work out of you, Director. Thanks to all of you who watched and or listened. We appreciate it. Be well. Peace.